haven't had some time to compare some of these games, I thought it'd be a good idea to compare the next iteration of Gran Turismo against the next iteration of Forza, which just so happens to be Forza Horizon 5, which was a showpiece, I guess, at this past E3. You know, it's funny because I always kind of made fun of the fact, and everybody used to always make fun of the fact, that at each E3, it really felt like Microsoft was super dependent on, you know, having a surprise, quote-unquote, Forza game. And I always thought that was never much of a surprise because there was literally one every single year. If we got too many Gears or Halo games last generation, we definitely got too many Forza games if you think about it. So the funny part is we got Forza Motorsport 5, Forza Motorsport 6, Forza Motorsport 7. That's 3 motorsport games. We got Forza Horizon 2, Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 4, and we also got a Forza Horizon game that was tied into Fast and the Furious. There was a standalone title on Xbox 360 as well as Xbox One. So, you know, that's 7 Forza titles in a 7-year period. So that's an incredible large amount of Forza games. Now on the other side, Gran Turismo used to be like this huge franchise. I think really was a big franchise back in the PS2 era. I think one of them, Gran Turismo 5, might have been a pretty big success on the PlayStation 3. When you look at things coming from a different perspective, like, you know, what they've come from now, and then you look at something like GT Sport, I think that it's pretty clear that, you know, Forza had kind of overtaken it in terms of viability and things like that. And Forza Horizon is a hugely popular franchise, so there is that when we look at like how these games are going to do in the future of these things. So I do think that that's pretty fantastic. Now, I wanted to kind of look at these because people were really looking at these games as a showpiece, and I just thought it was very interesting because as of yet, we haven't seen any games on the Xbox side take advantage of ray tracing from like their first party or anything like that. And believe it or not, Forza Horizon 5 isn't going to use ray tracing in the game, which I thought was interesting. You know, and it's an open world game and it looks good for sure. I'm not going to doubt that. I think that it does look good. I think that the game, you know, obviously for having a lot of baked on stuff, it looks good. But then when you look and you go back and you look at the Gran Turismo stuff, even though that was like early on, you know, the ray tracing's there, the looks are there. It's just like, I believe, in my opinion, in terms of looks, that it actually looks better than Forza Horizon. Now, that's not a knock. I'm not saying that Forza Horizon's ugly. I'm not saying that it's not deserving of anything. I'm saying that from what I've seen, you know, and again, they're two different types of games, so we do have that to kind of consider as well, that, you know, these games are going to look vastly different. You have one's a kind of a closed circuit racer, and one of them is, you know, obviously kind of an open world racer. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to have to take that in consideration. But I also kind of wanted to point out that, you know, you also have all these different things coming to Gran Turismo that aren't available, like the next generation wise, and they're both cross-gen games, so we have that to look at as well. When you look at how long it's been since we've seen any, okay, well, Gran Turismo Sport came out in 2017, the same time as Forza Motorsport 7, and it looks like the next one's going to come out in 2022. So, you know, that's about a 5-year kind of delay or whatever between the games, and, you know, you figure they're going to be able to do a little bit more with that. I guess they probably rebuilt the engine, and, you know, obviously when they make Gran Turismo Sport, they even announced then that, hey, we've got these models and car models that are going to go up to 8K, so we're going to be able to use them and transfer them for the next generation. At the same time, if you look at Forza Motorsport did the same thing, where they had to rebuild the engine and kind of change things completely around in order to, you know, take advantage of next generation. And I believe that's going to be a next gen only game. Supposedly that might have ray tracing. I don't really know. But when we look at Forza Horizon 5, we know that, you know, it's going to be a dynamic 4K 60. You know, they've teased that they could do up to 120 possibly on Gran Turismo 7, but again, that's a kind of a closed circuit game, so you maybe would expect that a little bit more out of that than the Forza Horizon game. And I think both games look good, but the ray tracing and just the realness of the cars really kind of makes you think, hey, in terms of just, and I haven't played either of these. I'm sure Forza Horizon 5 is going to play just like 4 and 3 and 2, and they play really good. But I just think that, in terms of graphics, where we're seeing this, it does look like Gran Turismo 7 is probably going to take the cake, and we're going to have to really kind of look to some of the other reasons behind these games, like what's deeper than that, gameplay, how many cars, how many tracks, and different things like that, to kind of see where people stand. And I hope that we actually get to do that, because I think that both are going to offer something different. And of course, we have to wait a little bit longer for Gran Turismo, but and at the end of the day, I think people are excited, but probably excited for different reasons. You know what I mean? I think that that's something that we really kind of have to look at and kind of go, oh, well, you know what? There really is reasons to be excited for both of these things, but possibly for different reasons. And I love that. If you're a PlayStation fan, you're probably looking forward to seeing what Gran Turismo has to offer, because racing games tend to be a real big showpiece of these consoles. And Forza Horizon, believe it or not, that will be the first real showpiece, video game wise, that kind of showcases what the Xbox Series X can do. Because believe it or not, we haven't really seen anything from them in terms of what they've been able to kind of offer and what they've been able to show off, that kind of takes advantage of the console's prowess. We haven't seen it. We haven't been able to see much of anything in terms of showing off what these things can do, and that's a real shame. And I hope that we do see some fantastic stuff from them, because I do think that that's something, obviously everybody wants to see in the long run. It just makes sense, and I want to see how many cars they can get out, and how many tracks and things like that. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. But what do you guys think of of these type of instances where we have obvious games, kind of the same situation, but maybe a little bit different in terms of the games? Do you think that it's important for one to maybe outdo the other, or do you maybe think Forza Horizon, despite not having next generation features like ray tracing in the game, and needing dynamic resolution for being a racer, do you think that that's a negative thing for that, or do you think that Sony is bringing back Gran Turismo to really take advantage of what that console has to offer? Like for me personally, I'm interested to see both, and I do hope that I do think that that's going to be very interesting to see sort of these face-offs and stuff like that, and hopefully everything turns out for the best. That's what we all want. We all want to kind of see that. But until that point, I would really love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on that. Let me know. I personally think, just from looks, Gran Turismo 7 looks much, much better. But let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching. Remember to slap that like button. And as always, rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.